Howdy lovelies, how are you all doing? Welcome back to our crafting, where we learn, grow and craft together. Today's session will be a scrap attack session. Again, it always helps to work off those little pieces of scraps that are always left behind when we're finished with a project. So those little remnants come in handy when we want to work off that scrap box. Now, it can be sorted in different ways. I normally keep my vintage theme paper separate, and then the colorful pieces to one side. And if I have a lot, I would also then keep the pastels to one side. So let's jump right into it. Now, as you know, I sometimes forget to start filming, and I start doing things, and I'm afterwards thinking I should have recorded that. It would have been helpful for others to see this, especially if you are starting out and you don't know where to get started. This is very helpful. So when you are working, I normally keep my little scrap pieces. I'll show you quickly. Let me grab it. And then you will recognize some from other projects as well that I have used previously. So if you follow me and you watched some of the other series and videos, you would recognize some of the paper as I flip through. This was from the Art Journal, the current Friday series that is running. So I cut it out. This was a 12 by 12. If I hold it like that, you will see I cut out a circle there and there. That was to cover the inner covers. And I kept this because one day it might just prove helpful when I want maybe to cut out hearts or flowers or something that I need a bit of glitter to this foil print on it. So my box has got this. I've used also, you will see some of these things also on my Instagram. I don't always post all my videos, but this is how I keep my little colorful pieces, and it can literally be strips like this. Even this can prove to be helpful when you are into junk journaling, can be added with a background. If this was a full set, look how beautiful that would have been on top there. You can put something yellow in the middle just to round it off, make an edge around it. It would have been awesome. So I also keep stuff like that. Sometimes I just chuck it away. So let's continue with the few pieces that I've put there. As you can see, I started punching and then I realized, oh, I should actually be recording. This was just a scrap piece of cardstock. It's basil cardstock. And I just punched out a flower. So we're going to make some flowers today. If you don't have a punch, you can simply take any rounded shape and you can just draw them overlapping so that they can make either 5, a 4, a 3, or even a 6 petal flower. So let's continue. I've got some different strips here. I just grabbed some we can use for the centers. Let's get, these ones should all fit that big punch. This can work, that can work. These ones we will have to be very careful with. So let's see where this takes us. Now, if we don't use it today, we will certainly use it another time. I've got a very big jumbo punch here. A wonderful dear friend of mine gave me this. So I was very, very, very lucky to actually get this. Now, sometimes paper starts chewing things, so I try to line them up so that they are a bit thicker. Just an array of scraps. Try to put them all together so that it's easy to manage, and then I punched a whole lot. Now let's see if this big punch is going to show. It just makes it, and that's the way I save time. So there we have 4 flowers that is punched, and it didn't take that long to get them done. Now I'm going to just move this along and fit this right in there yet again. Try to line it up so that they are not moving about, and you can include it like I already showed you. And there I moved it yet again. So let's see if I'm successful the 3rd time. Always 3rd time lucky, yes. Now just hold that, and there we go. Punch again. This one will not have the complete thing in, but we will use it for the smaller punch. I'm going to just turn this around so that I can see if this will actually fit a 3rd flower, and it actually does fit. So there's 3 from there. And then we have these ones. You can trim it smaller and then add the negative to your projects. This one we will keep to one side. We will see which ones we use. Now, instead of having paper that's just lying around, you now have these beautiful pieces that can be incorporated, making a card or whatever, a tag. Just simple page embellishments on your project. This pile of paper is a bit tough. Maybe not a good idea for me to actually punch it like that. I'll just take 1 or 2 down Will probably be difficult to line it up now, but let's see if we can. Maybe just a little bit too thick. Now just be careful when you line it up now. Make sure it's perfectly lined up. And there we have it. So, oh, that's 4 layers. No wonder the poor thing is protesting. And it moved yet again. That's always the thing, to try and keep them together. I'm just going to move this up a tiny bit so that there's space to use the rest of that paper. Now this one also doesn't want to go through, which is sad. It's okay, the first one did. These ones didn't. So we will take one off, line this up again. Now, unlike embossing folders or die cuts, it's a whole lot more tricky to get this lined up, but that worked perfectly well. We will use that part there to cut a smaller one. Let's try to get this one lined up as well. Not so difficult. Just make sure there might be parts, like on this one. You can see there's a little bit that I overpunched there, but it's not an issue. Now, I want these ones might be a little bit thicker. This one, that, and that. Let's do that. I also punched this one and the purple. Okay, I will just do this separate because, and this is now difficult because the paper is so much darker. Let's see if I can line this up nicely. It looks as if it's lined up. And now there is a bit of an issue. I will tear it out like that so that I can just trim it with my pair of scissors. There we go, that one is done. And let's do this one, which was from the original pile. Yes, I always turn my punches over so that I can see where it is on the paper, so that it is easier to actually punch. I will just put these two together and punch again. Quite a bit of flowers that can be used on any type of project. Cards, tags. These can be tags by itself. Let's do these two squares as well. Now with these ones, oops, they're not pretty lined up, but you can trim them down. I want to just punch them as far as possible. And you can use the negatives then as well in a project. That will be really, really gorgeous. Maybe I can show you that, how to do those ones specifically. Let's see, what else do we have? These ones here, I don't think these strips will be wide enough. They will probably be better for the smaller ones. Quick way to see is that way. It might fit in, but it's going to be a very, let's line the straight sides up. That might just be a bit easier to do. Let's see if that will work. Let's start this side. They actually do fit in. I did not think they would, but they actually do. Barely, but they do. How amazing is that? Where I first thought they would not fit. And the last set. Now this paper, we can use the pink. There might be space for the little flowers, but not any of these others. So that goes straight to the bin. Then, with these other pieces of paper, I want to keep a bit of yellow and orange, maybe some red for some circles. So I will keep those three, and let's just punch these ones. Again, line the straight edges up. I think that just makes it so much easier. This one barely fits in. But there we go, we made it. So these little bits can be for smaller flowers, like really tiny punches if you got that. So we will just hang on to those a little bit longer. So if you have a smaller type punch, you can use that. I normally just like to take these parts off. It just makes the punching easier. I don't think these ones will fit in. Let me turn it over and see. It's a bit big, so this is not going to fit in there. I will keep this for another day when I want to do tiny small flowers, for which I have a few. This will also not work. That will go for the tiny ones. But these ones, we might just be able to get a few flowers punched out. Again, just turn it over, line it up as much as you possibly can, and try to fit in as many as you possibly can, which in this case is not going to work, but I'll show you a way to get around that part. So this we will keep for smaller punches, which I'm not going to do today. Now here, I hope we will get about 1 or 2 out. Barely, barely, barely. Smaller ones can go in there. Try not to rip the rest of the paper when you pull it out, as it could be just that rip piece that you need to actually punch out a complete flower or heart or whatever it is that you would want to punch out. You get these punches these days, estate sales, marketplace on Facebook, and some stationery shops sometimes also sell these punches relatively cheaper. Your better quality ones are of course sold by your paper specialty shops for paper crafts, and of course a little bit more pricey. Now with these ones, let's just move these punches out of the way. A few circles would be helpful. Now I would not use purple, but I might use the red. You know me, that's something else that I love to use, are circles. I love incorporating circles into my crafting quite often. These bunches, I think they have reached the end of their lifetime. A friend of mine swears about using aluminum foil for those others, to actually sharpen her punches. Now, I have not been successful using that. I'll try to get these together. It helps. When you find it's chewing like mine, it helps to have a thicker layer of paper or an extra magazine page or some old book page underneath. Copy paper normally helps. See, it just punches better when it's got a thicker layer of paper. I'll keep that to one side. This, and sometimes I just go in and just punch circles just to get them done and use up the paper. I love incorporating circles in many of my projects. This I will leave for the flowers, and that too. So let's move to this pile here where we have some red, yellow and orange, which is mostly, well, I do use them often for the centers of my flowers. I'm going to just punch a few. I don't know exactly how many because I haven't counted the flowers. I know you don't have to use big ones. You can use, for instance, on the bigger flower, that one will be perfect, but even that one will be okay, though a smaller one would probably be better, but it's not looking too bad. So let's see. I have no idea how many we need, so I'll just be punching quite a few. And yes, they can jump here and there. I'll just do 2 this side. Whatever is left is not a waste for me. I use lots of circles. I often use circles in my mixed media, journal pages, all kinds, cards, tags, as embellishments. This can be used if you cut it down and put it on something that's printed. Give you an idea if you have this on the full sheet. Look how gorgeous that looks. So there's a lot that you can be using. I just want to take a few of these smaller ones just from this. And I just moved the page. I just want to show you what I mean with trimming the page. So I might be cutting that off just so that I can get to that sheet of paper again, especially when you use a smaller punch. So let's do a few smaller ones. Just line it up. So those will be 9 small ones. 12, 15. Yes, I do count for now. 21, and maybe one here at the bottom. Let's move it in there. And then we might get another one out on this side as well. And that's where I will stop with this. So, next step, and I will probably do this off camera. I don't want to bore you stuff. All you have to use now is some glue. I want to just do these two quickly. And I will keep this in the next session. I will be using that. So here I might do that. That looks cool. Did I not do a red one? That is very, very sad that I don't have a red one. I thought I did punch out a big red one with dots. So if I didn't do the polka dots, let's do a yellow one there and a red one there. Or if you want to, you can simply do 2 yellow ones. And look at those beautiful, beautiful little flowers. In the next session, we will be using these little flowers with those negative. If you use sticker paper, you could have just now pulled the backing off and just glue this down. I like to use paper. This one is a tiny bit skew, so let's just line it up more or less. And there we have it. I like it. Really, 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 truly like this. So these two you will see in the next session specifically, but let's do a few of these. Some small ones, some plain ones, so that you can see a variety. I will not be doing all of these off camera. I mean, on camera, I will complete most of them off camera so that they are done and ready for me to use. But I do not want to keep you long. The principle is the same. For this little 6-leaf flower, this extra bit of glue now. Little baby wipe or a wet wipe. Just wipe the glue. I know smeared some all over. It will dry, but it will leave some residue there. So there we have one little flower done. Let's just move that out of the way. I like the orange for this yellow flower. You could use whatever glue you want. You don't have to use the glue that I am. That's just the brand that I like. Something that would have been thrown away is now useful, and you can add this as embellishments on your page. You can use it as tags. You can use it as decoration on your projects. You can do the same thing. I wouldn't use the same type on there. I will just use a different color. And yes, for those of you that are starting with the Halloween decorations, you could have made the center purple or black or even green if you want to. As I stated before, I'm not a fan of Halloween. Not anything against it. It's just not my cup of tea because I am a sensitive viewer. I get scared of things like that. I had a conversation with my friend the other day. Well, actually, my friend and her daughter. And we were talking about scary movies and stuff. And I'm like, I don't do those. I simply don't. I cannot. I know there are lots of people. I can do the treat part, but not the treat part. If there are shops selling Halloween stuff, I will just avoid that aisle and not go there. Even if I need something, I just don't like it. I just don't. So that's where I will stop with this one. Just wanted to show you some of these little flowers. They are gorgeous. Those are the other two that I made, but I want to keep them separate. So there we are. With something that would or could have been thrown away, we now make it useful. You can go in and ink the edges. Let's take orange one. You know, I'm into vintage, so you can ink the edges. The brown really works perfect with this orange. You don't have to ink it, but you can if you want to. It really, really, really just rounds it off so well. That little bit of extra in your project. And there we have that one. Now you won't probably see this very well. Let me get a piece of paper. Do I have? I have some pink here. If I bring it closer, you can now see the edge there. That is inked. It does make a difference. You can also do the center. Let me do one. And glue that down. First ink it, then glue it down. Just so that you can see the difference of that. Let's do a pink one or a light pink since we haven't have one yet. And there you can see that one. So you can do it numerous different ways. Ink the flower or the center of the flower. And there you have that. Of course, if you have the tools, you could, before you punch it even, just emboss it for a bit of texture in the middle. And there we have these beautiful flowers. Thanks for joining me. Go try and use up some of your scraps. That way you stretch your resources, your stash, and you make so much more of it. Pieces that would have been thrown away otherwise can now be utilized. You have smaller punches, like I would go and punch my little pieces now. That will be worked off, and I can then throw away those parts as well. Something that I can get rid of, you can hoard so easily. If you want to see more helpful content like this, give me a thumbs up. And as always, I'll appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel too. Let me know which little flower you like the most. You can just comment the color at the bottom. It's always helpful to hear people's preferences and have that little bit of interaction. See you back soon. Goodbye.